Hiya, I just thought I'd let you know, finally made it to my blood test appointment, although I nearly didn't because it wasn't first thing in the morning, they couldn't get me in for that time, so it was due at 12:10, so not ideal but better than nothing. And but that morning I thought I might phone up and see if they could squeeze me in earlier or if anybody's dropped out. And good job I didn't, because as we went to go out of, we got a short drive. It's sort of like, when you saw it, if you've seen the video of when we bought the house, you kind of drive into it and then we park sort of round the bend a little bit. And we turned to go out and our driveway was completely blocked. About a month or two ago, somebody was delivering something to a house nearby. They mistakenly thought it was our house. As they reversed out, they reversed into the gate post, like big thick gate post thing, and split it and made it go a bit squiff. So, but then, even though admitted it at the time, when the guy who we rent the house off, the farmer, contacted him, he denied it completely. So now after that incident, my husband's got one of those cameras on his car, which I don't know how it would have helped in that instance, or apparently it reacts, or it's like got a sensor or something like that, I don't know. But I hate it. It's like having a little spy in the car, because it's also recording you when you're talking, recording us in the car. And I can't stand that, because if I'm driving, I tend to sing a lot. And he's caught me before now where I've accidentally left a message on the home phone and I've been like belting out, what was it, Mustang Sally. And he couldn't wait until I got home to let me know that he'd heard everything. Anyway, so it was getting fixed, but nobody had let us know at all that it was getting done, so the whole way in and out of the house was completely blocked. But good job it wasn't an emergency. I mean, the fellow works on the estate as well, so you know, the farm estate. He was really lovely, and he was super quick as well doing it. And Andrew explained where to Andrew had to get his medication, and I had an appointment to go to. And but in the meantime though, there's like a hedge, isn't there, as you come in, and you know, obviously he needed to chop a bit down to get the post down and stick the post back in. He cut down like a huge chunk of the top of the hedge when we'd left. When we got back, he chopped off like pretty much the whole hedge just on one side, and it looks so, because the leaves are all falling off, it's so bare, and just made me feel really sad. I mean, it was a bit overgrown, but I just feel really sad when I see the leaves all like chopped up. Sorry. It's like sometimes you'll go down a tree-lined street and they've chopped all the branches, and they've kept the trees in, but they've chopped them right down, and then all that's left is these little stubs of like branches and branches. That just makes me feel really sad as well. Pathetic, really. So anyway, the posts in, the hedges had to trim, and I've been for my bloods. And I did chance me luck and ask when I got there, because it's in the same place Andrew picks up his prescription, asked if they had any spaces left. Not left, what's up with me today? If anybody had dropped out, or if we could get in earlier. And actually there was a space right that second. So I went in, and the nurse was amazing. She was like a completely different one. She was saying that she nursed for about, I don't know, so many years, and then a family came along and she didn't do any nursing. Now apparently she's a phlebotomist, and she works there 1 or 2 days a week taking blood there. She's been away from it for like 20 years. Well, you wouldn't have known, because I said to her, I don't mind having the needles, but I can't look at it when it's going in. And she was like, oh no, that's fine. She said, you know, you're probably better than me. She said, when I have mine done or taken, she said, I've got to lie down. And so she grabbed me on, we were like just chatting, and next thing you know, she said, you know when they say sharp scratch, and I was waited for her to do it, and next thing she'd finished, she'd filled the vial and had put it to one side, didn't feel a thing. Usually it's like I'm being stabbed to death. All right, slight exaggeration, but it does hurt. But no, she was ace. So I did go and compliment her, because I think too many people complain, don't they, about the slightest thing, and people don't say when somebody's done something well. So I always like to try and say if somebody's done something well. So, oh gosh, and then on the way out, oh no, wait, I'm jumping ahead. Anyway, so we were chatting and everything, and explained kind of very briefly while I was there how I'd messed up last week, and how I was seeing the doctor next Friday, if I remember correctly. I just got a text through from the surgery to remind me. And I was saying to her about how I was starting to feel really low, and I wasn't sure if it was to do with my ferritin levels dropping. I said to her also that I'd stopped taking my D3 and my B12 supplements, that they had reached where they should be, but I just wasn't sure if they were affecting me. She was like, oh, let's just add those onto the list, shall we? And I was like, oh, can you do that? And she was like, yeah. Now last week, the nurse last week was the one that had caught me out when she'd done the whole list of everything that was on the sheet that we really should get done, all the bloods that we really need. And then she went and checked on something, and then found out that actually I wasn't allowed most of them, and I ended up just having the TSH done and free T3 and free T4. But this one's put these ones on. I hope she doesn't get into trouble though, because that would make me feel really bad. I will apologise if she does, but I hope it does go through, because that would be just handy, wouldn't it, to know, really. So yeah, that was a win-win. So I'm looking forward. She said about 5 days they'll be back. I'm hoping they'll be back before I actually see the doctor, because I'd like to look at the results first. They're normally pretty quick. And what I was going to say was, then as I came out, I heard shouting, and somebody shouting, stop it, and I just wasn't sure what was going on. And a bit further down, there was a big hullabaloo down the bottom by the escalators, and some poor old lady has fallen over. And I mean, thank goodness she was somewhere where there was people who could help her, because it's like a Boots the Chemist downstairs. It's like a great big Boots the Chemist downstairs, and upstairs is the surgery. So I'm hoping they managed to get her upstairs or give her some help. But she must have cut herself. I mean, they're sharp, aren't they, the escalators? But do you know the amount of people that were just gawking at the bottom? I mean, I did stop to look just to see, but I was really shaken up for the rest of the day. My dad fell in the going down the escalators a few years before he died. He was a bit unsteady on his feet, and they were going down, down the underground train station, and they can be pretty steep, can't they? And he just got dizzy and lost his foot and fell. There was nobody around to help, nobody at all, so they couldn't stop the escalators. They pretty much got shoved off the end, and still nobody came to help. It shook him up pretty bad, and because he hated those things anyway. Hated lifts, escalators, confined spaces, open spaces, high places, low places, flying, go by sea. We never had a holiday. No, he used to have to go to Ireland every year, because that's where our family's from, and yeah, he'd have a bit of Dutch courage to get himself across there. Anyway, so that's done, and now I'm off to bake an unknown quantity of cakes. I've got to been forced to be sociable tomorrow. There's the church has been all redone, and it's been changed so it can be used as a community centre. Not community centre, but like a village hall. And they've done it beautifully, and they've done so the pews aren't there now, and which is a shame, because they're lovely, but now you can get chairs in. So they're doing a children's party to celebrate the new church, and also now we're into autumn, because they missed the harvest festival. There was one for adults, so we're doing that. But not everybody's got back yet, if their children are going, so I don't actually know how many cakes to make. So I'm thinking 24 won't be enough, just in case. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I'll do 48. I could freeze some, couldn't I? Because I normally do that, I just won't put the icing on the top. Anyway, and they're really quite nice. They're a vegan sponge that I found. I've even done some gluten-free ones as well for some of William's preschool staff, and apparently they were really nice. Tasted a bit grainy to me, but I don't know, it was weird, like as if there was flecks of paper in there. So yeah, so I'm gonna get off and do that. So my thing was the crisps. I hope I've got enough of those, and the cakes, so I'm hoping they go well. Watch them bomb now. You know what it's like in villages, they probably all bake and cook, and there's people doing sausage rolls and things like that, but there won't be one shop bought sausage roll. I was going to dip out, so I was going to buy the cakes, and I thought, no, come on, you can do it. So I'll have a go. All right then, hope you're all well. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.